Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you and welcome to another episode of Ramadan Reflections brought to you by Reflection Path and the Zaytuna Primary School in Derby. Today we're going to be talking about a phenomenon that has gripped the world and has had far-reaching impacts on every level. We're not talking about the coronavirus, we're talking about the modern means of communication and social media. In the 21st century, we've seen a new wave of communication that has taken place on an unprecedented level. A means of communication that has penetrated the mountains, reached into the deserts, and has allowed us to film and send footage from the midst of the oceans. And this is the age of the internet, this is the age of smartphones and technology, and this is this age of satellites and communication. And so this has brought about many changes in human behaviors. And whenever something new appears, Islam has a stance on it, and Islam gives guidance upon it. And so when we're looking at things like social media, there are guidelines within Islam that must be adhered to and must be followed. The first one of those is that there are protected times that must be maintained. There are certain times which are sacred, the times of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and these need to be protected from any kind of intrusion. The times we're talking about are the times of prayer. The times we're talking about are the times when we're engaged with the Quran, or we're inside the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or we're in any kind of religious gathering. It's very important that we are able to switch off from social media and our smartphones and our tablets and any kind of technology that we're using that is not conducive to the activity and the focus that we are in at that time. Anything that distracts you should be removed. And it's the kind of disrespect to the sanctity of that time if we are engaged in a lesson, for example, or we're praying, but our mind is connected to what may be going on our phone. When we're looking at these phones now, we carry them in our pockets. In the past, we had televisions, we had telephones, we had fax machines, we had computers, we had letters that we used to receive. Now all of that has been put into one device that we carry around with us anywhere. And so all of those intrusions, all of those communications are coming to us all at once in one go. So your phone is pinging when you get an email, or it's ringing when you're getting a phone call, and these constant alerts are being received. And so that can have a great impact on our focus and attention in the moment. We know from the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ is that if he was engaged in something, he would give it his full attention. If he was speaking to somebody, he would turn to them with his full body and give them his full attention verbally, in terms of listening and in terms of body language. And we know that sometimes over 90% of our communication is through body language. And so if a person is speaking right now, you'll experience how it feels to somebody when they're being spoken to and the person speaking is engaged on their device. It's not pleasant. And these are the kinds of behaviors that we really need to reflect on. It's almost taken a grip of us and we've fallen into habits without even going through a process of education or learning. And so let's take a step back, let's reflect, and let's have a look at our households and how they've been permeated and penetrated by these devices. What kind of changes have they brought? And there is much good. There are changes in communication. There was a time when there was only oral communication in human history. There was a time when humans were using pictures and diagrams. Then there was a time when there was the medium of writing and paper and the pen. Now it's the medium of technology, tablets, smartphones, laptops, and these kinds of devices. It's the new age. And Islam does not say that we stay away from it. Islam just says we embrace it for its good and we stay protected from its evil. We know that in terms of communication now, that people are able to communicate with one another without even being in the same space. We know that there are rules and regulations that govern who we can communicate with and how we communicate with them. And there is a big threat to our children who are given devices without education or the understanding of the threats or the harms that these devices can have. So let's just spend a few moments during Ramadan, whilst we're stripping away from material things, while we're removing distractions, let's take an account of how we're using media, technology, and the social mediums that we have now and communication, how we're using those. Have they made us better people? Are we using them as tools to assist us in doing good? Or have they become a distraction, and are they impinging on sacred time? Another sacred time is time with family. That is absolutely crucial. And so families, when they are together, parents with children, spouses when they are together, the intrusion of the phone, and it can be likened to the Trojan horse, that it should not take over that time. And if it does cause a breakdown in relationships. It does cause frustration. It can be a cause of neglect towards children and not seeing to their needs. And so let's embrace it for its good. And let's make sure that any communication that's taking place is done fearing Allah and knowing Allah, that He is watching, He is seeing, and He is all-knowing, Azza wa Jal. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much for watching another episode of Ramadan Reflections. Please like, share and subscribe using the social media links below, and pass on the video to others and encourage them to benefit from them as well.